Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us here at Light Brew Book Review. We are here yet again to discuss this month's book. Now, originally, this was, it's my birthday month, so it just so happened to be my choice this month, which was very exciting for me. Um, but I had to switch it up. I know last time we were meeting, I teased a smut, book, but after some reviewing, it wasn't, nothing that we need to be talking about here on here. So I switched it up. We are now going back to another favorite genre of mine, which is the suspense thriller genre. And we're going with a book by the name of The Silent Patient. So just to give you guys a quick little, rundown as to what the book is about. We have The Silent Patient is a shocking psychological thriller of a woman's act of violence against her husband and of the therapist's obsession with uncovering her motive. Now, as usual, we will be discussing the book without spoilers on the first half of the show. We give our star rating, and then we go into a bit of a spoiler discussion after giving our star rating. So, would anyone like to go first to, a couple of thoughts, spoiler free, and their star rating? No?
I can
Yeah.
go. I don't mind going.
Okay.
Um, I will preface my review with for any of our regular, you know, what do you call folks that watch? Watchers,
Viewers,
viewers,
viewers, viewers.
viewers. I think
Oh. She was taking out all the suspense.
Lord, I'm sorry.
There you
Somebody called me. Um, I think y'all know me well enough to know you can kind of predict my review, right? For me, first of all, I just read the last 20 minutes about 30 minutes ago, and it took the whole book to get to the point. That's my first issue with this book. Too much color, too much detail leading nowhere, right? Third and well, second, whatever you want to call it, point is it's giving it's giving true TV, crime TV, like I wasn't feeling it. They could have guessed that though. I wasn't feeling it. I felt like the writing wasn't terrible. I felt like it moved along, but the fact that we didn't get to the point until the last 10% of the book, I'm like, bro, I could have just like went to the end and then got the whole story in about 10 chapters. So with that being said, because the writing was fair, I'm giving this a 2.75.
2.7 out of 5. Okay, okay. With 5 being the best, 1 being the absolute worst.
Yeah,
2.7. Okay.
2.7. And that's off the strength of the writing. So
Ooh. All right. Well, interesting. So, I guess I'll go next unless you would like to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
So full disclosure, I read this book in like a 2.5 day period. Thank goodness it was not like a crazy heavy read.
Mhm.
Um and it was pretty immersive. Like I've followed every single detail. I enjoyed some of like the background story. Um which we'll get back to. And then I loved kind of some of the mirroring technique that was happening between the background story and like the real plot that we were supposed to be following.
Mhm.
Um, and I love a kind of like a first person narration. It goes between the two characters. I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like that just lends a bit more when it's like a mystery like this, it lends a bit more to the storytelling, versus like some like I odd but is just like observing the entire thing. I
Okay.
love that because it gives you a chance to like, do I trust this narrative or like should I trust either of them? Which is a story like this. Overall, I'll give it a 3. I feel like it was written really well. It captivated. It was a little anticlimactic for me at the end, but not at all a bad ending. I feel like when it wrapped up at the very end, I really like how that went.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we got
Can we just say that E basically gave the same rating I did? So it wasn't, I was not off base with that. I just want everyone to be aware. We you can round that 2.7 to 3 if you like,
I
but
was gonna say it can be rounded
I,
up for sure.
yeah, I guess you can run. Okay. So
no, don't round, but you could.
I feel like a 2 is like below average. 3 is giving average.
Below average, correct. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So, okay. Well, my spoiler-free thoughts of the book. I did like he was saying, the first person narrative. I liked how descriptive Theo in particular was. I also really enjoyed, or I thought it was really good writing, how Alicia, how the writer made Alicia describe her feelings for Gabriel without outright saying her feelings for Gabriel in her diary. Because you could tell there was a bit of unevenness in the dynamic there. And it was just really interesting to see it being written down without even Alicia noticing that dynamic. I thought the twist ending wasn't given twist, in my opinion. I kind of figured it out a little earlier on, not that much earlier, but earlier on. And but with that being said, I was entertained with the book. I thought it was an enjoyable read. I thought it was something that you could, get through relatively quickly. It wasn't too, something that you had to sit there and think like, oh, what the heck's going on? Losing space, because everything was very um captivating, but not to the point that you're like, oh, snap, I got to keep reading, but to the point that it's just enough to keep you there where doing your task and whatever, you can still listen to it and enjoy. So with that being said, I believe I'm going to give it a 3.3. A little, I feel like it's a little above average, slightly, not that much above, but a little bit above. So
I
um,
almost said 2, but I was like, okay, let me not get like in the throes of points.
yeah, it's not that bad. It's not a bad book. I don't feel like it's deserving of a 2. I feel like it was entertaining. Was it the best thing I ever read? No. But was it the worst thing I ever read? Far from it, right? So midway. I'm middle of the road with this book, middle of the road. I'm surprised at all of the reviews and ratings it got, because I swear on Audible it got like 50 million reviews, all 5-star, and I'm like, were they?
Payola.
Yeah, payola, right? Exactly.
Or and I guess it depends. Like I said, I don't think the writing was not poor, and that's what
Mhm.
kept me kind of going, as well as, I am a sucker for detail, but when it gets to a point where the detail isn't leading anywhere, that's when I'm like, all right, because now you just adding words to your word count. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Okay.
think that's where I was getting to be like, yawn, okay, like what are we getting at for real? You know what I'm saying? And to be fair, no, I did not know the ending until I listened to the last. Like, I had no I and maybe that's my fault. Like, I wasn't paying attention enough, but I had no. I just knew she killed her husband. Like, I had no other thought that someone else did anything. I was like, well, she killed the man, so okay. You know
Well,
what I mean?
dang.
So
Okay, I guess we in the spoiler version of the show.
I mean, we did our votes already.
Oh, that's true. We did do our. We did do that. So there's that. I
I'm
can't
sorry.
pull the comments up, but hey, Sherman, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you for being here. Now, since we're already officially in spoilers, Stephanie O, continue with your thoughts.
I'm so sorry. I forgot. I'm supposed to wait. If there are cues for this, my bad, y'all. Yeah, like I felt like she killed the man. And what's crazy is the only thing that I think that was really done well, ergo the 7, Theo played his part. Cause I
Okay.
promise you, I said, well, that darn Christian, here he go doing deviant things. He has a track record of being deviant. Never my wildest dreams did I think that he was in fact the scorned, like this, like I got his wife was cheating, but for them to be connected, I was like, no way. Like, that's
Mm.
wild bananas. So again, the writing was well. And then I'll also footnote asterisk and say that I'm biased in the sense of I don't like murder. I don't read murder. If this was a mystery of sorts and we were trying to figure out like um who stole the book bag or something, you know what I'm saying? But once you start getting into murder and all that, I'm not with all that. So I'm also biased in the sense of like I didn't want to finish it, but I knew I had to finish it because I'm like, this ain't my.
Okay.
I don't want no murders.
See, I
There
knew
were
Theo did it when they started talking about a man following, her around, and Theo was already out here stalking the wife's lover. I said, hold on, this is giving very much you, Joe Goldberg, whatever his name is, and you. And to learn that Katie, I think this is the wife's name, was cheating on her man. I'm like, duh, you guys were cheating together. Like you started off cheating and you suspected her to
yeah.
be loyal to you the whole time. That was wow. But I had my suspects changed throughout the book. In the beginning,
Hold on, time out. Who was cheating before?
Kathy and Theo cheated on
Her
their,
director,
But
yeah,
no,
Kathy's director.
did she cheat? Because she broke up with him as soon as they got together. Like, hey, I'm done with this.
the fact that they
When
met,
they met, they
yeah,
both were in respective
Oh,
relationships.
so you saying like, I mean, because was it cheating if they both ended the relationships they were in once they decided like, well, I guess it was cheating
To
because they
get
weren't single when they.
yeah, and they were
Okay.
still after the significant others left. They were still in the bar, chit chatting it up, connecting. It was cheating.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then they
yeah.
immediately ended their relationships with the other, the what's it called? Their people though to be
Uh-huh.
together.
It's like a how you get them is how you lose them scenario.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. Sorry. Go
So it
ahead.
was
See.
No, I was saying my suspects changed throughout the book. Originally, I was eyeing Max, the brother, but I said, no, this is too
yeah.
easy. This is like a red herring, in my opinion. But the one who I thought was the person through a good portion of the book was the friend, the obsessive friend. His name is Jean Felix Martin. I
Mm-hmm.
thought for a good portion it was him, but it wasn't until the part, like I said, when Theo was following around the lover, and I said, oh, he's the man stalking. But yeah, thoughts, guys. What E?
There were so many better motives for it to not have been her that I really hoping with all these red herrings, I was just really hoping that one of them would come up with guilt, red hands or whatever. But it being exactly what the police thought is just like, okay. But then it's like, is presented as why did she do it and why isn't she talking? And we just couldn't accept that. We
Mhm.
had to make it who actually did this, because why would she kill the man she's so deeply in love with? They just kept reiterating how in love with him she was, even if he kind of like acted like she was just like whatever, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hysterical and pushing drugs on her and pushing his friend psychologist on her or whatever, when it wasn't like a legitimate situation with that either. And then with the money, like the inheritance and the brother on Felix and their weird friendship and that ending, and it was just there were so many other better motives.
Yeah.
And for back and be Theo, our alleged, I want to say hero, but not really.
Yeah.
But like I was just like, I mean, okay, like I don't hate that, because I love how they kind of demonstrated his descent into madness with him stalking his wife,
Yeah.
and pretty much witnessing her cheating out in the woods, which was
Mhm.
crazy. Um, I'm surprised I didn't get ticks. And yeah, him deciding to go about it the way he did, which is to bring this to the wife
Mhm.
and like buy a shiesty and just run up in the house. That was just crazy. And it was just like
Now,
you saw something a little bit before, but it was just like it the payoff just wasn't enough. And for the actual scene of the crime, the shooting, to be portrayed exactly as it was, except with this slight little twist. It was just like it wasn't enough for how much buildup we got leading there.
Now, question for you guys. Do you think that his wife, Kathy, do you think that she knows that he's a killer? Is that why
Yes.
you think
He's
so?
not a killer. He's not a killer.
He is a killer.
He's not a
I think
killer. He didn't kill anybody.
if he didn't kill, neither did that girl, the girlfriend of that guy who like himself, and she was like, just do it. You know, we're both gonna do it. You remember that case? They were over the phone. They were supposed to themselves, and he's like, I'm just gonna do it. She is in. Wait, she is in jail, right? I think yes, she's in jail. That girl's a killer. You're a psychologist. Even know that her trigger was gonna be this scenario of the husband, I guess, choosing himself over her. He didn't know that trigger, but he gave her all the tools to make this decision. But it's
Yeah.
like you have to have some. I don't know.
He's a
You have
killer.
He's not a killer. I don't agree with that.
and he did. If that part doesn't make him the killer, then him shooting her up with morphine and forcing her into a coma definitely makes him.
Facts.
Well, we don't know if she's dead though. He might have attempted murder on his hands, but he didn't. We don't know if Alicia made it or not.
I don't know. I feel like he's a killer. I feel like he's a killer because even with the case of like cyberbullying, like if you know you're in there, oh, you should off yourself, you should kill yourself, and the like the kid actually does, aren't those bullies? Aren't they kind of charged as with a homicide at that point? I feel like he did everything plus that. He did more than that.
It's a case by case basis with those, but like this guy, his avenue of expertise is the mind, and he kind of used that to manipulate that entire situation.
But he's nuts. He's also nuts though, right? So if he is not in his right mind, but he plays with the mind, is he a killer, or does he need to be locked up in that little ward as well?
Both.
Well, I mean, I would say he's a sociopath, a little bit, or narcissist at least. Sociopath, I feel like there's some narcissism in there, but they don't really have feelings. Oh yeah, maybe more psychotic. I would say he is, because he does have crushed.
Okay.
The other thing too, I think that's important to note here is while they kept stressing she loved him, Gabriel did not come across as a man in love. I did not even know. So I didn't think he was cheating, but I also didn't think that he really cared for her. So I was trying to figure out why he was with her, especially because he knew she was in fact damaged goods. She was a nut herself. So to get with someone that you already know is crazy, to me means you got to be a little unhinged, or you had another motive there. So it would have made this interesting. I don't know. I've referenced this movie before, The Last Duel. If they would have told this story from Gabe's
no Last Duel spoilers though, because I haven't seen The Last Duel.
If they would have told this story from Gabe's perspective, now that might have been interesting. Like if they would have turned this and told me this story from 3 different views of 4, that could have made this interesting, because I don't think Gabriel was in it, but I don't know why he was still there.
I'm assuming because they were together for so long, maybe, and maybe a part of him kind of like being idolized by her, because it was clear that she was so much in love with him and would do anything for him.
And we also need to point out too that the other thing that made this book interesting was that her paintings were in fact her communicating. I thought that was maybe the most interesting part, that dissecting her art could really tell you a story. So there were, I mean, that's why I say 2.7, right? I wouldn't dare give this a 2, but there were nuances that made it cool, but overall it's like
Now
I wish it was the cousin.
Say it again.
I wish it was the cousin.
The cousin,
girl, he got gambling issues. He ain't got time to kill. He about to get killed by the.
Oh yeah, he was a mess. He was a wreck.
Right. He need to go drink or something.
If the cousin, if Paul would have somehow linked with Gabriel and Christian to set it up as if she's crazy, to like help propel that by being the mystery man that's hanging out all the time, and then she's on these drugs, she's seeing Christian or whatever, like that just would have been so much more of a payoff. And now they're like paying off his debts, like to get him to do that. Like it just would have been so much better. But it might have also been like, oh, every character producing the story is guilty. It's
See,
like, I don't know.
Right.
I wish it was Max because he was a POS. Like I couldn't stand Max, the brother, the one who was just
Yeah.
so jealous of Gabriel's life. And
Yeah. He
I
was
wish it was him.
terrible.
But I'm still kind of confused as to why she didn't speak for so long. Like, what was that about?
Because of the play, right? In the
She's
play, that's what that woman did. She never spoke again after she was sacrificed by her husband. Like I think that was the parallel. That's what I took. That's what I inferred anyway.
yeah,
Like
but
she
she
was
could have defended herself. But then again, she did it, so it's really not nothing to say.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and what do you say? She did kill him, and she knew she killed him, so
Yeah.
she was not wrongfully accused of a murder, right? So it just was. Well, there are more details surrounding why I did it, but she, at the end of the day, she killed that man.
I
So
feel like she could have got off. I feel like she could have got off because he's tried to sacrifice her first.
that don't mean you get off for killing him because
I don't know. She could have
he
did
offered
something.
to kill you.
Theo could have got off up until he morphined her out.
True. Facts.
But
You
if
know,
she want to go through the whole thing of writing in her diary every fucking thing, why didn't she just, give away the? She could have been said something.
But that was the point. She probably also thought no one would believe her. Like, how did she prove something like that?
Mm.
How do you prove that some man was there? He shot in the ceiling, told you to be quiet. You realize your man really didn't want you. It's crazy. It
Mhm.
really does not sound real, right? Like you had to be there to know it's true. Ergo, why Theo tried to kill her,
Yeah, and
But
Theo just thinking that he's coming in, or you would think that he's coming in like this white knight, just I'm going to
right,
help her, and
right.
he was just trying to cover his own tracks.
Right. And that was what made me also cringe too. I'm like, you sought out this woman that you pushed over the edge. I'm trying to help you. You
Mhm.
knew she was lying to you about how this man died because you knew. But how could she tell the truth of how the man died, knowing that you are in fact the man that pushed her? She couldn't have known who I was. I had a mask on. People pick up on more than just your face. Your
Mhm.
voices are distinctive.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
he's nuts. That man
Yeah,
he's
crazy.
nuts. His father did a number on him. His mother did a number on him. He needs to be locked up
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
sure.
y'all just
For
remind
sure.
me how Christian was like, oh, what did he say? He said, oh, it was those, oh God, what did he keep calling the crazy people? Those borderline, they're so seductive. I just kept waiting for the seduction.
Right.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
Right.
not
Right.
like one more added layer of him being involved in some illicit way that was like not appropriate.
Mm.
And it just was like, no, it's just a bunch of red herrings. And
Yeah. He
here's the
he was too gone off his wife that ain't want him. Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, that was the book, guys. So with that, of course, for next month, the pendulum shifts over to the next member who gets to choose their their book of the month, and it falls to E Boogie. So you said you had some options here you want to talk about.
okay. I do have a couple in my wish list, and this one, this first one is like, I have it because, all the stuff going on with what's his name? Justin Baldoni
Oh, okay.
and uh what's her face? Blake,
Uh,
what
Blake, yeah, Lively.
Blake Lively Reynolds
Uh-huh.
and and when so this is going to be less about that story. It ends with us, and I don't want to read that. I saw the movie and it didn't give, but the casting choice of Blake as the main character for It Ends With Us brought up a lot of discussion about what she would have been a better cast for. And it's from this book called Verity. And I thought that might be an interesting choice for us to read if you guys haven't already read it.
I haven't read it, but is this the one with like, they have
Right.
like a little watch me F kink?
I have no idea. Oh my.
Is that the one? Maybe not. Maybe it's another
I don't
one.
know. I
Okay.
don't know anything about Verity. All I know is that a lot of conversations came up about them wanting to see Verity get made into film and that Blake would be good to be cast in that film.
Okay. So, okay. Verity, that's option number one.
Okay, here's another one. Now this one has gotten a lot of recent kerfuffle. I don't know why, but like Waiting to Exhale, I guess people are going back and reading Terry McMillan's books, and Waiting to Exhale has come back into that conversation. But a lot of people were referencing the film, they're not aware that there's a part two to that story. And the book that is the part two is Getting to Happy. And I want to, it's on my wish list. I kind of want to see where the story takes these four women. I always loved the movie. I never read the book, but maybe I'll read Waiting to Exhale one day. But I kind of want to see where it goes. We didn't get like a second Waiting to Exhale or whatever, but I do. It's in my wish list. Getting to Happy by Terry McMillan.
I've actually never seen Waiting to Exhale all the way through. I think
Me
I know
neither.
about it because of pop culture reference,
Right,
but I
right.
don't
Me
think I've
too.
seen. Stephanie,
Neither Waiting to Exhale.
no.
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone.
I know snippets, like I know little pieces
Yeah.
of it, but I've never seen that whole movie.
I really ladies to get on that.
Okay.
Oh, good. I mean, it's not even. We'll get on. I'll talk about that later. But it's
Okay.
really. And the last one is a thriller. I don't know much about it. It was just a suggestion from Audible, and it's called When No One Is Watching.
What, say it again.
When No One Is Watching.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What is this one about?
Oh God, I don't know, but it said a lot of twists. There's a detective, something happening.
Okay. Is this by what's it? Alicia Cole?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So those are my three.
All right. So
A little snippet and see what we've done.
yeah, we'll announce what was selected very soon. But now we know our options, we can kind of discuss. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Again, we'll do next month. Look forward to one of these three books, either When No One Is Watching, Getting to Happy, or Variety. We'll see. Or was it? Yeah, Variety. So see you later and goodbye. Thanks for being here.
Bye.